Hey guys, this video is going to walk you through what you need to do for your research journal. This is for going to be the same thing for your short story essay and for your drama essay. First of all, here are the instructions for the research journal. So the whole point of this is to give you an informal and functional way to keep track of your sources as you do your research and as you write your paper, because one of the biggest time sucks that I've found in academic writing is not being organized about where your stuff is, or not being able to get back to something that you found, or losing stuff, or having to redo stuff. So we're going to try to skip all that by making sure we're organized kind of from the beginning. I'm kind of a chaotic person. I struggle with organization sometimes too, so I wanted to make this as straightforward as possible so that it's functional. So if you have some super fancy detailed organizational system that you already know how to do and that you use, that's great. You can turn that in for this instead. But this is just kind of a really bare bones way to keep track of stuff so that keeping your sources organized doesn't become a whole secondary project, okay? So for most of the stuff you're going to do in college, like undergrad, while you're getting your associates or your bachelor's, you're not going to have a whole ton of sources for the most part. You might have 5 or something, and generally that's pretty easy to keep up with. But sometimes in order to get 5 sources to put into your paper, you're going to need to look at 20. And when you get on to if you go to grad school later on, you're going to have 20 sources in your paper, but you're going to look at 50. So being organized about it will really save you some time, and we're going to be organized about it from the beginning, not from the end. So that's the thing. You're going to make this document with me, hopefully before you even look at research, and we can go from there. So again, whole point is just to keep track of your sources. So what you need to include in this assignment is a working thesis at the top. That's just to give you something to kind of hold on to refer back to make sure that the sources that you're putting in are reflecting the needs of your thesis, okay? Or that your thesis is reflecting the kind of research that you're doing. So working thesis means that it can be edited, so you may change this along the way if you find something else you want to do instead, but this is just to give you something to work with. So hopefully you will get your working thesis going when you do the worksheet part of this, part of the assignment. So you do your worksheet, figure out what you're kind of going to write about, get your working thesis together, then put your working thesis at the top of your research journal so that it can help guide your the stuff you look up. So I gave you an example here. And then for each source that you include, or for each source that you find, you need to include works cited information, which I'll show you how to get, stable link, which I'll show you how to get, and notes or whatever that you're going to pull from that source to include in your paper. This is not your works cited page. This isn't just a MLA works cited page. It's not an annotated bibliography. It's just some notes. So this should not just be a list of works cited. And if it is, you will not get much credit for it. So it needs to include all of this to get full credit for this assignment. You will include an MLA works cited page at the end of the essay that you turn in. So you'll turn in your short story analysis essay or your drama analysis essay, and at that very bottom page, it should have a works cited page attached to that. We'll have a video for that later on. This is just for your research journal, which is a different thing. So for this essay, you need to have 3 sources. You may find more, that's okay. Turn in whatever you got. So what I've done is I have just created this blank page here, and I'm going to set it up like this because my desktop is big enough to allow for this. So I went ahead and looked up Sunny's Blues on JSTOR, because JSTOR is a great database to look at for humanities stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and name this I already named my document, but I'm going to give it a title because that's good form. And then I'm going to give you an example of how I would go about doing this research journal. So say, so I'm going to do, first I'm going to put my working thesis at the top because it says to do that. And I'm going to use the example that I have given you there. And because I like to keep things organized, I'm going to give it a heading. So here's my working thesis. And the sources we look at may not reflect this thesis, so just know that. This is more telling you how to set up the paper than to make your thesis work. So let's say that I read this article. So I've clicked on it from JSTOR, and I read through this. And that looks pretty good. So I think I might use this one. I'm not positive I'm going to use this one, but I might use it. It might have something useful in it for me. And I'm going to go ahead and maybe find a couple extra sources just in case one of them doesn't end up working out. So the first thing I'm going to do before I really start getting into reading this. So first I'm going to look at this and I'm going to see if it might work for me. I'm going to skim it. I'm going to say, okay, yeah, this works for me. So before I really start reading it or start looking for quotes that I might use or information that I might include in my paper, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit cite. And JSTOR is going to give you all of this stuff. So this is another reason to use the library databases, is that they will all give you the citation. So we're using MLA, so I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to paste it here. So I've got my citation, and now I'm also going to get the stable link to this. So if you pull the link from like up in your search bar, like on your Google or whatever, it's not necessarily going to be there when you get back. So the databases will give you a stable link. In JSTOR, it's like right here. So I'm just going to click on that. And that way, later on, when I'm doing my research, I can just come back to my research journal, click on this link, and it will bring me directly to this page where I found this article. You can also download this as a PDF. You can print it out. You can save it. I don't know if this one will send it to your Google Drive or whatever, but there are lots of different ways to access this. I would probably just download it because that seems easier to me. So now I have my MLA citation. It's not formatted correctly. We'll do that later. And I have a stable link to get back to this, so I can just come here and click on that. And now I'm ready to actually read through this source and see like what I could maybe include in my paper. So obviously I'm not going to do that in real time for you now because that would be boring. But what I'm going to do is just pretend like I'm reading through this and I'm pulling out some quotes. So we'll pretend that, these couple little sentences are what I might quote these in my paper, or I might paraphrase them later. And then I'm going to write some notes. Hey, this source looks useful and has stuff about things. So you're going to have the MLA citation, the stable link, and then you're going to pull like copy paste quotes in here, or take any notes that you have about this as you write. So it's a way to kind of read actively. So what I'm going to do, because it's going to help me stay really more organized, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, I'm going to copy and paste the author and name and the title of the article up here, and I'm going to turn it into a heading. So the thing, and Google Docs does this too. So if you're not familiar with using headings and titles, it's a really convenient way to help keep yourself organized. So now I can go over here to this little navigation button, and I have a section for my working thesis, and I have a section for my first source. All right, cool. So we'll say I've got that good. And now I'm going to do this one. So again, hey, this looks like it might be interesting. Before I really get into reading it, I'm going to get the citation. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to get the stable link. I'm going to paste that there, make sure it actually turns into a link. Close that navigation. And now I'm ready to read through and maybe pull out some quotes and stuff about this. That's not a great paste job there, but whatever. But I'll just pull a few different things like, hey, this is some information that I might include in my essay. I am going to make it, again, I'm going to pull the title and the author. I'm just going to copy that, hit enter so I can move that down, and I'm going to make that into a heading. So now, look, it'll like take me back and forth through my stuff. All right, now, before this video runs out of time, we are going to also look at how to do this on EBSCO and on Gale, because things are like, it's going to give you all the same options, but they might be in different places. So I'm just going to look up Sunny's Blues. We will accept that. Let's say we want to, this looks cool. I don't use EBSCO as much, so it's going to take a second. So what I'm going to do is, well, it's going to make me open a whole nother page. Okay. Oh, that's an interlibrary loan. Never mind. If it says interlibrary loan, just like, don't worry about it. See if that one will work. Nope, that's an interlibrary loan too. Okay, here we go. I mean, you can do an interlibrary loan if you want to, but it takes a while. So here we are. I'm going to choose to view this online full text. I'm going to choose to view this online full text in a different window. Just kidding. I'm going to download the PDF. Great. All right, so now I have this, and let's see. I'm going to, for EBSCO, the little quote thing here, that's the site, and this gives you it in Brazilian National Standards, which is not what we're using. We're using MLA 9th edition, so you have to select MLA 9th edition, and then we're going to copy that to clipboard, come down here, paste it, and I'm also going to get, let's see, it may not give me the stable link since I downloaded it. See if I'll do it from here. Oh, it will if I... Site, add to project, share, download, print. Oh, that's cool. You can listen to it. Just kidding. These EBSCO ones don't have the link thing, I guess. Wait, was it literally right there? Yeah, whatever. If you can't get the link, that's just what it is. It's okay. I have the citation. That's an important thing. Oh, I have to open it again. I'm just gonna pull this up here. I'm just gonna pull it from the search bar. That'll have to work. All right. So again, I'm gonna pull some quotes. As I read, oh hey, that looks interesting. Cool. All right, so now I've got some notes from that one that I can use, and once again, I'm gonna copy paste this just above it here, and I'm gonna make that a heading, and then that way I can check it out. Like I can switch back and forth between them really easily, and it works really well. So I've got my 3 sources. That's great, but I'm gonna get one more, just to be absolutely sure. And this time I am going to use Gale so we can look at how that works. So this is the history one, but we'll just see how it goes. James Baldwin. Surely he's part of history somewhere. Jimmy. Sure, let's do it. What in the world? Whatever. We'll pretend like we're using this. So Gales is going to have the same things available. So we are going to click Cite. It's going to go ahead and give it to us in MLA 9th. We are going to paste that. Nope, I did not select. I'm going to paste that over here. There we go. I'm going to get the link, which is this button right here. So Gale is a little bit more friendly in that it tells you what these mean. So it's Cite, get link. I'm going to get that there. And I will, I don't know what even this says, but we're pretending like we're pulling notes. And I've got some notes, might include some of this in my paper. Cool thing about Gale, and I think JSTOR does it too, like you can highlight stuff and save it, and it'll be like that when you come back, if you click highlights and notes. So they actually give you annotation stuff within the program, which is very cool. But once again, I'm going to pull the article title and the author. I'm going to make it a heading, and now you see I can navigate really easily in between my sources. I already have my citation that I'm going to use to make my works cited page, which will be in a video later. I've got the stable link to get back to it. I've got quotes that I can use, and I know that these quotes come from this source information above it. So yeah, that is your research journal. If you have any questions about it, just let me know.